everyone, my name is Thashini and today I'm doing a movie review on Apocalypto. This movie was released in 2006 and it was directed by Mel Gibson. Apocalypto is a movie that shows the decline of the Mayan civilization, which began around 900 AD. The Mayan civilization was one of the most dominant indigenous societies of Mesoamerica, which today is known as Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. This movie was heavily criticized for its historical inaccuracies, which I will highlight in this video. Everyone in this film is speaking Yucatec Maya, the Mayan language, which is good because it shows authenticity. The Mayans also wore minimal clothing like loincloths and a lot of jewelry made of bones, sticks, and painted clay. The movie opens with a group of hunters and Jaguar Paw is introduced. He's the main character. He divides up the meat for the other hunters. Although Mayans started out as hunters, around 2000 BC they adopted a new lifestyle, farming. They grew corn, beans, squash, and etc. This is about 3000 years before the time period shown in the movie, so that is a bit inaccurate and quite confusing for the audience. The huts in Mayan civilization were built on top of low, solid foundations made of limestone. This is not shown in the movie at all. Towards the end of the day, Jaguar Paw is seen resting with his pregnant wife and son as stories are shared around the campfire and people are dancing. The next day, the village is ravaged by a violent raiding party. They kill and slaughter everyone. But Jaguar Paw manages to hide his wife and his son in a well, and then he himself is taken captive along with a few others, and they travel with the raiders to a city made of stone. Now there is a scene here that is worth mentioning where Jaguar Paw's wife is treating her son's wound using ant heads. The Mayans' use of this technique is not proven, but this natural way of treating wounds did exist in the pre-Columbian Brazil times, so this scene may be half accurate. Along the way, the captives, they pass by a burned down village where there is a girl who is carrying a disease, and she gives a prophecy about the end of the Mayan civilization. The movie doesn't clarify the origin of the disease, but according to history, the epidemic that almost wiped out the Mayans was spread when the Europeans arrived with contagious diseases from other foreign lands. These diseases were smallpox and measles. But this only happened years after this period. As they enter the city, we see men covered in limestone, which is the material that Mayans used to use to build their stone monuments. The women that were captive are auctioned off, and the men are painted blue. The blue used in this movie is called Maya blue. It's the color of the rain god and used on people they want to sacrifice, which were Jaguar Paw and the others. They are brought to a blood-soaked pyramid and the crowd cheers as heads roll down the steps. The pyramid that we see here resembles the temple of Kukulkan, which was used for the Mayans' astrological studies. We also see the king dressed in jade and feathers, which is only worn by noble families of the Mayan civilization. It is accurate so far. But this is where it becomes inaccurate. The victims are splayed on a column at the top of the pyramid, and a priest cuts them open and pulls out their beating heart before beheading the victims and throwing them down the steps. This form of ritual is more known among the Aztecs because they sacrificed in large volumes. Mayans were only known for occasionally sacrificing a child by throwing them into a well to feed the water gods, not sacrificing people in large volumes like this in the movie. Just as it becomes Jaguar Paw's turn, the eclipse happens. Everyone is stunned by the eclipse, and the priest takes this as a sign that the god is satisfied with the sacrifices and will bring rain upon this drought that they are experiencing. The Mayans believe that the gods moved the sun and the moon in the sky. Religion in the Mayan civilization was heavily based on nature. They paid a lot of attention to the sun, the moon, and the rain. That's why Mayans are also known for the calendar that we use today, the one that ended in 2012. Jaguar Paw and the rest are dismissed because they are not needed anymore for sacrifice. The people who captured them, they took them away and wanted to kill them for their own amusement. Jaguar Paw somehow managed to escape, and the rest of the movie is in this epic chase of Jaguar Paw running through the forest and trying to kill off the bad Mayans one by one. The movie ends with boats of Spaniards arriving at the coast, and Jaguar Paw is finally reunited with his wife, his son, and a newborn baby. The ending of this film is heavily criticized as the Spanish invasion on the Mayans happened in the 1500s. That is almost 500 years after the period shown in the movie. And according to historians, by the time the invasion happened, the stone cities were all but abandoned and covered in rainforest green. This movie loosely depicts the fall of the Mayan civilization by overlapping the timelines. Although there is no historical evidence, the theory is that overpopulation, warfare between city-states, drought, and famine was what led the Mayans to abandon their stone cities and go back to their villages in the forest. This was the end of what was called the Classic Mayan period. And then foreign invasion and disease led to the end of the Mayan civilization in the post-Classic period.